So I made this huge video on Leroy's hermit stance on block and all the options he has, but there's one option I forgot. And the user with the name MMK, I thank him for this, showed me that you can actually cancel his stance with 3+4. So if you do his stance and you do 3+4, you can cancel it manually. But if you cancel it manually, you'll say like, yeah, the frames can't be that good, right? Well, now the frames are actually pretty good. So I'll show it to you here. The other Leroy is going to go down for it 1-4 into stance on block. So on block he's really negative, and I'm going to try to down for it 1+2 him out of it, because he can't block in the stance. Well, if he does 3+4, then he can block it and he can lunge punish me. So yeah, I'm going to go over this option. I'll explain you this option, and to add to my video, in the other video I made this really nice summarized chart for the mix-up on block. I'm going to update this chart with this new option.
Fight.
So as you can see, Leroy could actually block really fast. But how fast can he block? How fast can he block mid or high? Well, the thing is, his cancel takes 6 frames. So 6 frames until he can block. If we let him do down forward 1-4 into block here, so down forward 1-4 into the 3+4 cancel and block at the same time, then if we take Miguel, we can actually see what this means. So Miguel's back 1 is 11 frames, Miguel's magic 4 is 12 frames. Leroy, after a down forward 1-4, is at 6 frames. So let's see, a magic 4, 12 frames, he will block, but a back 1 will hit him. So yeah, after Leroy is down forward 1-4, he's at -6. The cancel takes 6 frames for him to block, so I only have 11 frames to hit him out of it. That's why the back 1 will hit and the magic 4 will just get blocked. Now we should also find out how fast he can block low. So we do, with Leroy, we go down forward 1-4 into 3+4 and then low block as fast as possible. So as you see here, we can still hit him with fast low pokes like this one or that one. So yeah, the cancel takes some time to block low. The thing is, it takes 17 frames. So he's at -6 plus 17. At 23 frames, he should be able to block. So Armor King's down back 3 is 23 frames. So we go down back 3 and you can see he can block that and punish that. Now, if we do a 22 frame move like Devil Jin's down back 2, then you can see we can actually hit him. So yeah, the 17 frames is confirmed. So 22 frames will still hit him after a down forward 1-4. 23 frames will get blocked. So to summarize, to beat this option, the cancel with 3+4, we need 11 frame high or faster. So 1-1-2 will beat it out, but back 1-2 will not beat it out. So we can block this. And for lows, we can still hit him up to 22 frames. So you can use a good plus frame low here. Using a slower low will get you blocked. Also, we can still use a grab to get a grab attempt and see whether he breaks it or not. Now, what are the risks of using a big chunky low like down back 2? Well, down back 2 is pretty slow, so Leroy can actually use forward 1+2 here to beat you out. So if we check this, then he beats me out. Also, after a down forward 1-4, if he does forward 4, so this big move, which is a launcher on normal hit and on block it leaves you at 0. Well, this move, after a down forward 1-4 at -6, this move will beat out everything after an 18 frame low. So if we go down back 2 here, he will just jump over and crush you and you will get lunched, which is really bad. You really don't want that. So this is a dangerous option if he knows to go for the forward 4. So now, here we have the chart I made in the other video. So the other video was about Leroy's hermit stance on block, and it becomes a really big mix-up where you have a lot of options. And here on the left I listed all Leroy's options, so he can parry with back 2 or 1, he can low parry by doing nothing, he can sidestep left for 1+2 is his fastest move, and then you have back 4 to high crush, and he can also try to go for a mix-up. And then our great options were doing a 13 frame tracking high, a 16 frame tracking mid. Tracking is pseudo tracking, so it needs to track the sidestep, but it doesn't need to be a real tracking move with like the white glitters everywhere. So we can do a 16 frame low or special mid, a 12 frame grab, a block or a sidewalk. Now in this chart, green means that you will beat Leroy's option. red means that you will lose from Leroy's option. You also have yellow. Yellow means that you will stay in neutral, that you will stay in the same situation you were before. Now, what is the situation you were before? Well, Leroy is at -6, as you can see in the top left corner. Why is he at -6? Well, because most of Leroy's moves that go into Hermit stance will go into Hermit stance on block at -6 or higher. There is one exception, and that is with the move forward, forward, 4. Now, if you want to know everything about this chart, every little square here, well, you gotta watch the other video because I explain it in the other video. Now, the thing is, we get another option for Leroy. It's canceling his stance with 3+4. This one, well, the 13 frame high will actually lose from this, but yeah, 13 frame high will not be punishable because Magic 4 is most of the time not punishable. But it will leave you at -9. So you were at +6 if he did the stance on block, and then you are now at -9, so you're actually losing frames. Then the 16 frame mid, let's say the thing is punishable, so if he just blocks it, he can punish you for it. Then the low, we will still beat him out. With a grab, we will also still beat him out, and then on block, nothing will happen because you will both be blocking, and sidewalking, you will also both be blocking. So as you can see here, 3+4 is actually a pretty good option because it's really hard to beat it. Now, what can we do to beat this option? Well, we can take the 13 frame high and make it an 11 frame high. So with the 11 frame high, he's actually not able to block. So this will give us a bigger chance of beating his options. Now here you see that if you don't want to take a lot of risk, well, you can do the 11 frame tracking high. It will only get beaten by the parries. If you want to take more risk and want to launch, then you can do a 16 frame mid, but there might be a chance that he will block it or that he will parry it. The low is also a really great option because it can only be parried by the low parry. And then sidewalking I still think is a great option because most of the time you're at neutral, but you will be able to lunge the parries, and I think a lot of Leroys will do one of the parries. Also, as we discussed already, we have another option to beat 3+4, and that is with a big chunky low. So we have a 19 to 22 frame low that preferably also tracks. So if he sidesteps, we can track him. Well, this big low, it will win from the 3+4 as we showed before, and it will also win from the parries because the low can be parried. It will lose from the low parry, which is normal because it's a low, but it will win from the sidestep left if it's tracking. It will lose from the 4-1+2 because the 4-1+2 will come out too fast. You need a 16 frame move to beat that. Then the back 4 high crush will be too slow, so you will win. And then you also have the mix-up. Well, the mix-up, depending on how fast this move is, you will win, but he's at -6, so most of the time you will win this one. And yeah, the 3+4 I already told you. Well, this looks like a pretty good option, right? Because it will only lose from the low parry and the 4-1+2, and those are pretty dangerous options for Leroy to do because doing a low parry just means doing nothing, and it can be lunged because he can't block in the stance. And also doing the 4-1+2 means he can get counter hit. Well, that's true, but Leroy has one more option that we discussed in this video, and that is his forward 4 from stance, which is a low crush. So he low crushes from frame 19. That means that you actually will lose here and get lunged, which is really dangerous. So as you can see, his forward 4 low crush will lose from every pretty fast move, the 11 frame, 16 frame, the 16 frame, but it will lose. But you will lose with your with your chunky low. The grab will also grab him out of it because he won't be in the air already, so you can just grab him. And then blocking, well, yeah, the forward 4 is -0 on block, so if you block that, then you go from -6 frames to 0 frames, which you don't want, and sidewalking will beat this one. So yeah, if you see this one, I think your best options are to go for an 11 frame high, a 16 frame low that, yeah, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it beats everything. The 11 frame high beats everything except for the parry. And then if you really want to beat the parry, you can sidewalk his parry. And if you just want to be safe all round, I think the 12 frame grab in this case is a really good option, because a lot of times he won't be able to break the grab because he's busy with doing stuff instead of watching for a grab. And the only way to beat it sometimes is with a sidestep at the right range. So yeah, the grab is a really good option here, and I would suggest you use that one and mix it up with the other options here. So I hope you understand now that Leroy can cancel his hermit stance. I hope this graph will give you a clearer view on dealing with Leroy on block, because it's a really, yeah, he can do a lot of options and it's really hard to think about. He actually has pretty great options on block. So I think having a few moves in mind to get the mix up more easy is really handy. So see ya.